evening. On behalf of the commissioners and staff, I would like to welcome you to the November 9, 2023 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. Please put all electronic devices on silent at this time. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table. If you plan to speak at tonight's meeting, please complete a blue speaker card and return it to the staff table. As a reminder, Planning Commission meetings are broadcast live and replayed throughout the week on Consolidated Communications and Comcast. I will now call the meeting to order. Lupe, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brashears?
Here.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost?
Here.
Commissioner Jensen?
Here.
Commissioner Martin?
Here.
Commissioner Randolph?
Here.
Vice Chair Pryor?
Here.
And Chair Covington.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please begin staff introductions.
Good evening, Chair Covington and Commissioners. Lupe Nelson, Recording Secretary.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Chair Covington and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Covington and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Chair Covington and Commissioners. Sean Morales, Associate Planner.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Scarlett Moore, Associate Planner.
Thank you. The public comment period is a time for anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. When addressing the Commission, please state your name for the record and limit comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the Commission on an item that is not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I will close the public comment period. Next is the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion, as recommended in the staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, Planning Commission, or staff. Tonight's consent calendar consists of one item, item 5.1, minutes from the October 26, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Is there anyone on the commission or in the audience who would like to pull this item off the consent calendar for a separate discussion? Hearing, or roll call, please. Oh. Sorry. Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Vice Chair Pryor has made the motion and Commissioner Martin has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Randolph?
Abstain.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost?
Abstain.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pryor?
Yes.
And Chair Covington.
Yes, the motion is approved. Next on the agenda is requests and presentations. Before we begin, I'll review the meeting procedures. First, we will hear the staff presentation, then I will take questions from the commission, then I will open the public hearing. The applicant will make a presentation, then I will open the public comment, and the public will have an opportunity to speak. Then I will close public comment, and if needed, the applicant will be given an opportunity to provide a rebuttal. Then I will close the public hearing, and the commission may ask questions of staff. Finally, the commission will consider the item and make a decision based on the information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. Item 6.1 is a request for a major project permit for 246 Gibson Drive. For the record, file number PL23-0020. Sean, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, you may. Good evening again, Chair Covington and Commissioners. I'm here tonight to present to you the BP, or Boston Pizza, restaurant project. The project site is located at 246 Gibson Drive within the Highland Village commercial development at the northeast corner of Roseville Parkway and Gibson Drive. Highland Village was approved through the Major Project Permit, or MPP, process in 2008, and MPP Stage 1 approved the site plan and building footprints and design guidelines, and the Stage 2 approved many of the building elevations. As you can see in the image here, many of the buildings and parking areas are constructed. And the current request is for an MPP Stage 2 to review the elevations for one new building on Pad 4. The request also includes review of a central plaza area. The last modification to the Highland Village site plan was approved in 2019 and included removing Building 5 and increasing the size of Buildings 3 and 4. The applicant proposes to maintain the approved footprint for Building 4, so no modification to the site plan is required. The building will have 2 tenant suites. One is planned to be occupied by Boston Pizza Restaurant and Sports Bar, and the other for a future retail use. The building will use colors and materials from the Highland Village design guidelines, such as a thin brick veneer and stucco siding in neutral colors for the body, as well as accent materials such as faux wood panels. Although the colors and materials are largely consistent with the design guidelines, the building is able to differentiate itself from other buildings in the center with unique elevation features such as a central tower element with metal accent panels seen in the image here. The original Highland Village plan anticipated a central plaza between buildings 4, 5, and 6 as a pedestrian-friendly amenity. The modification approved in 2019 removed Building 5 and required a change to the design of the plaza. The current proposal is generally consistent with that approval and retains the key elements of the plaza, including 2 brick trellises that match those throughout the center, a water fountain feature, tree planters, and a vehicle drop-off area. Early notification of the project was posted on the Arcona website, and a public hearing notice was mailed to a radius of 300 feet from the project, as well as published in the Press Tribune and on the website. No comments were received after that notice. An initial study and negative declaration were prepared for the project in 2008 and adopted by Planning Commission. This proposal is found to be consistent with that prior document, and so no further environmental review was required. In conclusion, staff finds the proposal is substantially consistent with the intent of the original approval, as well as the zoning ordinance, general plan, specific plan, and the community design guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends the commission adopt the required findings of fact and approve the project as listed, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Sean. Commissioners, any questions for staff at this time? Okay. I will now open the public hearing. I would like to invite the project representative for this item to address the commission.
Good evening. My name is Al Johnson with Al Johnson Consulting. I represent the project applicant. We have no presentation for you tonight, just to say that we thank the staff for their hard work on this project. And as the staff report indicates, we support the recommendation and the conditions of approval that are proposed. And we're available for any questions that the commission might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the project representative at this time? Okay, thank you. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission? Hearing none, I will now close the public comment period. Any last questions or comments from the commission? Okay, I will close the public hearing, and would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the MPP Stage 2, subject to 73 conditions of approval.
I'll second.
Vice Chair Pryor has made the motion, and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. Lupe, roll call, please.
Commissioner Brashears? Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pryor?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagenjos?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Randolph?
Yes.
And Chair Covington?
Yes, the motion is approved. There is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Next is item 6.
Chair Covington, before we get into item 6.2, I'm going to recuse myself due to a conflict of interest.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner Martin. Item 6.2 is a request for a conditional use permit modification and design review permit modification for 1798 Pleasant Grove Boulevard. For the record, file number PL 23-0121. Scarlett, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, good evening, Chair Covington and Commissioners. The second item before you this evening is the West Roseville Marketplace Modification Project. So the project site is located on parcel 21 within the Delve Web specific plan. And the site is specifically located at the northeast corner of Fittement Road and Pleasant Grove Boulevard. The site is approximately 8 acres in size and has a zoning designation of community commercial with a special area overlay and a land use designation of community commercial. Surrounding uses include a senior apartment complex and the Delve Web community to the north, Pleasant Grove Community Church to the east, commercial properties within the North Roseville specific plan to the south, and single-family residential properties within the West Roseville specific plan to the west. So the West Roseville Marketplace was approved last year in November, and the entitlements included a conditional use permit, as well as a design review permit, a tentative parcel map, and a plan sign permit program for a new 76,000 square foot shopping center with a Safeway grocery store and a gas station. In addition, it included a freestanding pad building with a drive-through. Today's request is for a conditional use permit modification and a design review permit modification to allow McDonald's to construct a new drive-through restaurant at the location as shown in red on your screen. The request will allow McDonald's to establish their hours of operation, their business hours of operation, and modify the building's size and design, as well as reconfigure the drive-through lane. So as part of the original entitlement, the CUP included a condition of approval requiring that any future tenant of Pad B modify the CUP and establish their business hours of operation. McDonald's proposes to operate from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. daily. And as part of that original CUP entitlement, a noise study was completed by Bullard Acoustical Consultants. Since completing the study, only minor site changes have occurred, which do not impact the conclusion of that analysis. So the study anticipated that the primary noise source would be from the restaurant drive-through operations, as well as any parking lot movement and the rooftop mechanical equipment associated with the building. The study also took into account the existing 6-foot sound wall along the northern property line, as you can see in green on the screen. And it found that with the existing sound wall, the noises would be reduced by 5 decibels. Additionally, McDonald's does propose to use a noise reduction feature called automatic volume control on their menu board, which will reduce sound levels during quiet times throughout the day. Overall, the study did find that based on the existing sound wall, as well as the proposed drive-through location and the drive-through setback from the nearest sensitive receptors, and the hours of operation, noise levels are anticipated to comply with both the city's noise ordinance as well as the city's general plan. So as mentioned, in addition to the CUP modification, McDonald's is requesting a design review permit modification to reduce the building square footage, as well as reconfigure the drive-through lane and modify the approved building elevations. Overall, the new building will be approximately 1,000 square feet smaller than what was previously approved, and the original approved site plan will be redesigned to allow for a dual drive-through lane, as you can see on the screen. So in addition to the site changes, the applicant does propose to change the approved building elevations. McDonald's does propose to match the building materials and color palette that was previously approved. Stone veneer is proposed to wrap around the entire tower element and will be placed along the building elevations as strategic points to help break up the building walls. Additionally, aluminum trellises are included as accents on the buildings and will be a dark gray color. Overall, the project will reflect a craftsman architectural style, which is consistent with the previously approved shopping center design. Early notification of the project was posted on the Arcona website, and a notice of tonight's hearing was published in the Roseville Press Tribune, as well as mailed to property owners within 300 feet of the project site and posted on the Arcona website. As a result of these notices, we did receive a comment from a Delve Web resident who had concerns with the potential noise impacts resulting from the drive-through as well as the proposed hours of operation. So staff did spoke with the resident and explained that based on the location of the drive-through and the noise reduction feature that's being proposed on the menu board, the project is not anticipated to exceed the city's noise ordinance. An initial study leading to a mitigated negative declaration was prepared for the West Roseville Marketplace and adopted by the Commission back in November of last year. Tonight's project is within that scope of that previously approved project and will not result in any new environmental impacts previously analyzed. Therefore, no further environmental review is required. So in conclusion, staff finds that the project is consistent with the zoning ordinance as well as the general plan and the Del Webb specific plan, and the site is properly designed and will not be detrimental to the public health and welfare or the safety and public welfare. And the required findings of fact can be made for the project. So based on the information presented to you this evening, as well as the evaluation in the staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission take the actions as listed on the slide. This concludes my presentation, but I am available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Scarlett. Commissioners, any questions for staff at this time?
I have one very minor question. I'm looking at the elevation drawings and the trellises on the building. When I look at the planting plan, there's no plants proposed for those trellises. Are they going to have plants in the photo sim of the building? They actually have plants shown, but I can't see any in the planting plan.
Traditionally, I've seen them being installed, but we can confirm. Sorry.
Okay. I've just seen some buildings around the city have these trellises on the wall, and there's nothing growing on them, and they look like out of place.
So, just a question I have is, having the drive-through open till midnight, is that consistent with other establishments that have been built throughout the city?
Yeah, so the hours of operation with the conditional use permit, we do have other drive-through facilities that have hours of operation that go to midnight. I think we just, last meeting, the Starbucks, we extended their hours from 5 a.m. I think that was to midnight as well, is my recollection. One of the unique aspects of this project is the reason that this particular McDonald's had a conditional use permit is the parcel was originally one parcel. And if you look at the site plan, ultimately when the map is completed and the site is all parcelized, this will be on its separate parcel. And if the parcelization had occurred before the development application, this wouldn't meet the criteria to require a conditional use permit. So there wouldn't be any operational conditions of approval on the site, which until we added that condition of approval requirement about 5 years ago, we typically didn't have for these types of facilities hours of operational conditions. I think that's not to say that we shouldn't have hours of operation. I think we felt comfortable from the 5 to 12, especially the way the site is developed. You have the church is the closest facility, and then really the church blocks this drive, and the building, if you look at the site plan, the building blocks the driveway, the church blocks the driveway, and the Safeway with its inline tenants block the driveway. So really all the surrounding residential uses are shielded from that driveway by the immediately adjacent are shielded from the driveway of the McDonald's. So we felt comfortable with the hours of operation. So kind of a combination answer. Yes, there's other facilities in the city that have these similar hours of operations, but also in this particular instance, we felt comfortable with the 5 to 12 just because of how the site was oriented and designed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for staff?
Yeah, just some clarification. I want to make sure that I'm understanding the noise, study here. If I'm reading this correctly, it looks like R2 is the closest residential. And one of the studies shows that, max noise level of 25, if I'm seeing that correctly, and that's probably before the major pad A is established. So if it's 25, we're talking about somewhere between a pin falling and rustling leaves. Am I reading that correctly? In the noise studies?
I don't have the noise study up.
I'm pulling up the noise study.
Yeah, it's, let's see, it's, what do we call in this document? PC attachment number 2.
Yeah. So I think what I would look at would be Table 4. of that document I think you're looking at,
Table
Commissioner
1,
Beshears.
2, okay, thank you. Table 3.
So at R2, where we have the single-family residential, the predicted noise levels for LEQ would be 51 dB.
Reading that correctly, that's for loading dock activity for the, I think that's for,
Most likely, because
Grocery
this
pad
study
A.
was done for the whole center, yes.
right, there's that other noise document, though. Attachment 3, I believe.
Where it shows about a floor fan or air conditioner.
No, there's something that it identifies, or maybe,
In table 3, they've got a drive-through menu speaker where the nighttime levels are 40 to 60.
might actually be the, regardless, I just want to be sure I'm reading that correctly, that what I believe I saw without pad A, the pad that we're talking about, the distance to I think the closest residence is identified as R2, and the max decibels was 25. So based on those studies, we're talking about,
I don't see that. When you see 25, can you refer to the document that
yeah, I'm trying to find it. I was just looking at it.
I think that's without the ambient noise that you're looking at, though, Commissioner Beshears. I do think Table 3, also that Cliff mentioned, Commissioner Hagenros mentioned, it shows drive-through menu speaker is nighttime LEQ of 40 decibels at a weighted average. So I think 20 sounds a little too low, I think, for obviously the speaker operation. So I think something in the that Table 3 is the correct.
Okay.
Were you maybe seeing table 6 on that? The delivery,
I can't
on-site
get
delivery
anything
truck?
to load at this point.
Okay.
It's-
There are tables 6, 7, and 8 of the original noise study talk about on-site delivery truck circulation for the retail buildings, for the gas station, and so and those numbers are in the 24, 25, 28 range.
This wasn't that.
And for the restaurant, they were much lower on table 8. So that's the truck circulation, not necessarily the menu board.
No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, I was looking at
I think
10.
you're talking about maybe table 10.
Okay,
Yeah, take a look.
yeah. Yeah, table 10, you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, page
R2.
11, table 10.
R2 L max 25. For predicted restaurant drive-through noise levels at nearest residential uses.
Yeah,
I think that's when you count, when you account for the distance to those sensitive receptors.
Yeah.
The predicted noise level, yes, is 20.
and the
24.
reason those numbers are so low is because when they do the model, they take into account the fact that Safeway is between this fast food restaurant and the residential use.
Sure.
So
As well as the sound wall.
and sound wall. Yeah. So
Are taking into account.
yeah, that would be the totality of the if you're in your backyard, anything going on in that drive-through lane,
Right.
25 dB, which I don't know is
Well,
based
again,
on all the background noise in the shopping center, ambient noise.
right.
Like you said, it's almost insignificant.
And that's the clarification I was looking
Correct,
for. Because
yes.
I think that is the concern, right? Is extending hours, it's going to be noisy, but we're really, maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. That was it. Thank you. Commissioner Jensen. Or Chair Jensen.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff at this time? Okay. I will now open the public hearing, and I would like to invite the project representative to address the commission.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Tiffany Wilson with RSC Engineering, civil engineer on the project. I also have with me Mike Yao with Core Estates, who's the architect representing McDonald's. We just appreciate all staff's time working on this project. We also worked on the original West Roseville Marketplace, so we've been here for a while, and McDonald's is excited to go into this location. We support the recommendations and the conditions and requesting approval tonight. I heard your conversation on the sound and just want to briefly say that, table 9 and 10 of the original noise study would be what you want to look at. And what happens is as you increase distance, doubling the distance that the sensitive receptor is away, you decrease the decibels, and according to the study, by a -6 dB per doubling of distance. And because those residents are over 500 feet away, that's why the sound, drops drastically. And then correct with Greg Bitter saying that the sound wall and the store are accounted for, and there are certain reductions per those obstacles in the way. And then, yes, Scarlett did give us the letter of concern from the neighbor tonight, and we did design the project reflecting the neighbors and pulled, the fuel center and the drive-through closer to the road, further away from the residents, for those reasons, knowing that sometimes those are the noisier operations, but now they're that much farther away from the sensitive receptors. And we're here to answer any other questions you guys may have.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the project representative?
Could you maybe answer my question about the trellis on the...
Yes, we went back and forth on the architecture quite some time, and I think that was one of the compromises, was to add the trellis and the landscaping with it. I don't think the landscape plan got updated. I think we focused on the elevations. So we are also doing the CDs right now, so I will make sure we're going through plan check comments. I think we have probably one more left. So I will check our landscape plans and make sure they're added. That was not intended to just be a trellis with no landscape, but so I'll make sure it's not overlooked.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the project representative? Okay, thank you. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission? Hearing none, I will close the public comment period. Any last questions or comments for the applicant from the commission? Or for staff? No? Okay.
I'm just going to offer a comment, which is, I think that part of what we are experiencing, projects like this have been planned for years. The development is happening on the west side. For people who have bought homes and resided homes when a lot of this development hasn't, even though it's been planned for, it hasn't existed, there's the change that happens in people's lives. And I just think we have to be aware of that, but that this type of development is what has been planned for, and it's great that it's occurring.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Hagensjoes. Any other last comments? Okay. I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and move that we adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the conditional use permit modification subject to 6 conditions of approval, and adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the design review permit modification subject to 5 conditions of approval.
I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Jensen has made the motion and Commissioner Hagensjoes has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hagensjoes?
Yes.
Commissioner Randolph?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pryor?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
And Chair Covington?
Yes, the motion is approved and there is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Welcome back, Commissioner Martin. Next on the agenda is the commissioner and staff report. Any reports from staff?
Yeah, I just have a couple items. Derek twisted my arm and convinced me not to have a meeting in 2 weeks, so we will not be having a meeting on Thanksgiving Day. But we will have a meeting on December 14th.
Okay.
And I think that's all. I can tell you that last Wednesday, the city council did approve the specific plan amendment for the Sprinter project that was before you a month or so ago. So that's through and on its way. That's all I have.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Commissioner Brashears has made the motion and Commissioner Martin has seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.